London. Today I'll speak with Dolly Kelepecz. Dolly is the Director of Training Programs for Dance Teacher University. She's also Senior Faculty specialising in ballet and Pilates at UNLV, and she is a long-term resident of the city of Las Vegas. So a really great person to speak to about the upcoming DanceTeacherWeb. Dolly, thanks so much for joining me. It's great to see you. And you're my first guest who's actually sitting in the city of Las Vegas right now. So welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to see you again, Matthew. Thank you for inviting me.
So tell me firstly, how did you meet Steve and Angie? How long have you known them? And what's your involvement? How has this collaboration come around with DanceTeacherWeb and we'll get on to Dance Teacher University?
I met Steve and Angie over 30 years ago with a company called Dance Educators of America. We then had Charles Kelly, who made a training program. He invited me and invited Steve and Angie to be involved in his training program, which kudos to that man. He taught me everything I kind of know in regards to organizing lots of teachers to create a training program. 3 or 4 years later, we started talking about, wow, we should do a training program because we were the original ones with Charles doing all of that. And they said, okay, can you get some people together? Will the university partner with us?
So this is DTU, isn't it? Dance Teacher University.
Correct.
Talk a little bit about how that runs alongside the convention.
People that are there for DTU can also participate in DTW. And now that's DTU1 is in person, DTU2 is online. So that even helps and frees up more time, because before we were back to back as teachers and it kept the students in their little bubble. They couldn't get out of the bubble, right? And they couldn't enjoy the rest of the conference. But Steve and Angie have figured it out. And I said, we talked about it. I said, we really need to do this online, because the second level of it is they already know us. They already know kind of what we're saying. And it's just the next progression.
I always find this conversation interesting because I'm obviously from the UK, from England, and we have a really, I think, having worked in the dance world, a very strong tradition of training to be a teacher, but that's kind of not the same tradition in the US, is it? So things like DTU, why do you think they're important?
DTU helps teachers to get a taste of how to deliver ballet in a palatable way, how to deliver modern in a palatable way. What we're targeting is, what we're teaching is going to help you teach the professionals, but those students that are on a recreational track, it'll help them be better and be able to enjoy the art of dance.
You also, presumably in doing that, you're talking about anatomy and safety and when it's safe for girls to go on point and all of that kind of stuff, which I guess if there's no formal training for teachers, any old person can just pretend that they know how to teach bar work. So presumably sort of safety and that kind of stuff is part of the package, right?
There is an anatomical approach, and I think that is the biggest part. Talking about, I have a class with DTU that's it's called It Hurts When I Dance. And how many times when you're a teacher, you get in the classroom and the kid goes, they've got all these bumps and bruises, and the teachers are like, and so I give them resources. I talk about the common injuries. I let them ask me questions. I have some educational background in physical therapy assistance, so I've had a lot of anatomy classes, and it's kind of a secondary passion of mine to be healthy and dance. So that was a great observation. That is what we do. We do try to make it user-friendly, right? So that people can use the information and know that they're not hurting someone.
So let's talk a little bit more about ballet, because I mean that's where you and I have some common ground, because I used to work for the Royal Academy of Dance, and I know you're specialist in the art of ballet. So what do you think is the role of classical ballet or ballet in the modern tapestry of dance styles that people bring to the party at DanceTeacherWeb?
It's always been like this elitist thing that kids like, I want, they see the ballerina and like, oh, mommy, I want a tutu, I want my point shoes. And then once they get to that point, they're like, forget this. This is a lot of hard work. If you get on your toes and it's like, ouch, and wow, this is not what I thought it was going to be. And this is the funny thing. Everybody, oh, ballet is so foundational. And then they don't give you the proper floor to dance on, or it's not sprung, or you can't use rosin because the rosin's going to hurt somebody else's feet because they have to be on the floor too. So all of those things make ballet a little bit complicated in its traditional form. And I think that's why I kind of strip it down and say, look, you don't have to go through pliés, tendus, dégagés. You don't have to go through the traditional series in a classroom. I'm always like, here's the shape of the foot. There is a shape of your foot. It's not just turned out from the hip. Your foot also has a shape. So realize that sur le coup de pied position that comes from Vaganova is paramount to really jazz, modern, anything, because you shape your foot. Your foot isn't just pointed straight ahead. It's shaped. So I take things from Cicchetti, I take things from Vaganova, I take things from RAD. We talk about all those things and how they all have value, but how do we quick fix it so we can fit it into your studio?
So presumably when we come to August this year, you'll be delivering some of this stuff at the convention. What is a little sneak preview of what Dolly will be doing at DanceTeacherWeb this year?
So one of the things that I find extremely fun, but I think most people think I'm extremely crazy, is that I get up at like 6 a.m. and I teach an early morning class, and I call it Awakening. Things to warm up the teacher. It's for them. It's this class that says, here's how to help your body get through the dance day. When you're at home, do some of this stuff before you go to class, or when you get to the studio, do some of these things. So that's my morning class. And I love sharing that information because I think it's very valuable for the teachers. And I think I'm teaching a traditional point class too, which my traditional whatever is based on who my audience is. And I think that's the good thing about DTU and DTW is that the teachers that Steve and Angie interact with understand the audience that they're actually presenting to, because that's a big deal.
My observation is at the convention, what people enjoy is being with each other as peers and learning from another teacher. I guess it must feel like a bit of a relief to not be the one at the front of the class, but to be the student. And I see that a lot when I'm observing what goes on at DanceTeacherWeb. So I guess your point class would fit into that category.
It's building a community, and people nowadays want that positive community, right? We're looking for love, support, help. I think dance is very special. I think it's underestimated. I think it creates a solid, balanced human being because of what we do, moving to music and breathing with music in, that it becomes part of your soul. So I think it's very special. And I think that's the biggest thing is the community that Steve and Angie, they've created that. It's beautiful.
Fantastic. And I just can't let you go without asking a question about Las Vegas. You are a long-time resident of Las Vegas. So tell us, if you're coming to the city for the first time, what is your top hot tip for what a visitor should do in their spare moments between dance classes?
There's a lot of really nice restaurants in the Paris. So there's beautiful places to eat inside of the Paris hotel. And, Cirque du Soleil is kind of taken over. And my personal favorite is Mystère. But of course, O is the one that they kind of identify Vegas and Cirque with O. And as I was talking to you earlier about, Dita Von Teese has an amazing show. The production value of it is just outstanding. It's a little bit like The Greatest Showman, but scaled down, but live. It's amazing. And it's not as expensive as the others. So if you're looking for something not quite as expensive as the Cirque shows, that's a good one.
Brilliant. So dancing, eating, going to a show. Sounds good to me.
Right.
Thank you so much. And I really can't wait to see you in 3 or 4 months. See you in Las Vegas.
Okay, thanks a lot. I appreciate this.